sorry you guys, my hair. I don't know what I'm doing with the hair this today. I did weave. I'm sorry, I did weave. Oh, what's the matter? Someone's driving by our house and they're not allowed on our road. But, did you see that? Are you comfy? Okay. Hi, welcome to FiberLoveDiary. I'm Trish if we haven't met, and if we have met, welcome back. I'm glad to see you. How you doing? What's up? What are you working on? You guys know Luther. If I'm sitting, especially with this blanket in my lap, he's on it. So here he is. I've been really busy the last couple weeks. I've been doing a lot. So you're gonna see a bit of it today, and then there's a couple new videos coming out after that are related. In the last video, we talked about art versus craft, which I think is a really interesting kind of like, I don't know, debate. But a lot of you kind of agreed with me. Some of you kind of did and kind of didn't. And you had a lot to say, and I would really encourage you, if you're interested in this debate, to go back and read those comments because they're kind of interesting. But one person, L. Walton, said one thing that really kind of struck a chord with me, and it was more word for word, I don't have it, but more to the effect of, it doesn't matter so much what you call it, it's as necessary as the air I breathe. And I feel that in my soul. I think it's a really interesting debate because sometimes I feel like the rest of the art world does not accept us as artists. But anyway, we are what we are, right? It doesn't really matter what you call us, I guess. It's just that if they call you art, you can charge more for your work. Also, a couple videos back in my stash flash, you guys got to see my husband. Again, he's been in another video, and he talked about kind of like his thoughts on my hobby and on my stash. And he's been around me knitting the entire time we've known each other, which is 15.5 years. So he was around when I learned to spin. He has always encouraged me. He is for real my best friend. You know how people say, I married my best friend, and it's like, whatever, dude. He is my best friend, and he is my biggest support. He's the biggest support I've ever had in my life. I kind of feel like the only person I've ever had that was supportive in the same way is my sister. He is my biggest, he's always on my side. He's so supportive. Guys, he watches every one of the videos that goes up on his channel. He watches them all. And what's funny is every single time he emails me and he's like, good video, babe. And I'm just like, you think they're all good. They're not all good. They're not all good. But you have to appreciate that kind of support. You have to appreciate that kind of cheerleader. I think we all need one. I think we all deserve one. And we can all be one as well. So speaking of my husband, he also has taken up a new hobby besides designing warping bars for my weaving, which has actually been super cool and helpful, and I love it. But he has a lathe in his workshop, and he made me a French rolling pin once when we lived in our old house. So we've been here 3.5 years. So it's been probably 5 or more since he like made a project on the lathe. He literally went out a couple weeks ago to his workshop, and he went and bought some wood, and then he went out to his workshop and he brought this thing back in, which I'm gonna show you. And you guys, I was like, are you freaking serious right now? Look at this. This is number 1. He's never, whoops, sorry, hang on. So he brought this back in the house. And at the time, it would be like what you would consider a blank because it was solid inside also. Does that make sense? And I was like, what? Are you serious right now? It's kind of a big yarn bowl, but it's a yarn bowl. And then he took it back out like a couple days later, and he was like, you know, because turning on his lathe wasn't like a big hobby of his, he had chisels and all those tools, but he said they weren't the quality that he needed to do something like this. So he ordered himself some new chisels and stuff. But then he, I don't know, turned the inside. Look at that thing. Isn't that cool? What? First one ever he's ever made. He laminated the wood, obviously, and then he cut the grooves in it, which I'm a little bit obsessed with. He's not that happy, but I kind of like the look of it. And he oiled it, and that's it. We did not seal this one. And he has turned a second one, which is, he's got out in his workshop. I'm not sure what he's doing. He did not cut a slot in it. I would show it to you, but it's not in the house. So it's great, I think, when you are with somebody who understands a creative hobby, and then when it benefits you as well. I mean, how could that be bad, right? So I will now get a steady supply of all the yarn bowls I want. And honestly, the second one that he turned, that he didn't cut anything in the side yet, like, I like it so much that I kind of want to just put it out as a decoration and maybe put something else in it. So, but you know, there's a spot for my yarn bowls that are decor, because you guys, this to me is art. So why would I hide them and put them in a cupboard somewhere? They need to decorate, right? Okay, so now it's time to talk about real projects. Talk about projects. Last time we were together, I mentioned that I was gonna weave a scarf for myself, and I finally did. And it's kind of like a Snow Queen theme. I have a video on this scarf beginning to end coming out. I did spin the weft for this, and it was like a long process because I took an old bat out of my stash that was kind of an icy blue, and then I added a bunch of stuff to it, and I filmed it all for you. I spun the yarn, then I wove it into the scarf. I'm gonna hold it up so you can really see up close. Gosh, that's good light today. I don't want to like get excited, but maybe I figured out my light problems. So I'm kind of crazy about it. It's maybe a little bit wider than I wanted it to be, though, is the only thing. It still has an end too. Look, I gotta weave that in. But it's been washed. And isn't that pretty? It's so pretty, and it's like a little bit subtle because it's all tonal grays and blues. But anyway, I'm gonna link, as soon as I get that video up, it'll be linked below. If you wanna see the whole process, so blending the bat, spinning, warping, weaving, and really kind of there's like a little bit of planning in there too. You can check that video out. Look, just check it out with my black coat. Will that not be cute? Ooh, and because I spun it myself, spun it, you know, this is a problem for me. I still have some yarn. It's probably about 60 yards, I'm guessing. And I have some of the other yarns, and I think matching mittens, I should knit some matching mittens, right? I'm totally obsessed with the scarf. I love it. Love it. The last one got sold before I even got it off my loom. Honestly, I didn't post this one on Facebook, but maybe I should have, because, you know, I'm kind of at that point where I always want to make another one. So if it sells or somebody wants to buy it, I just sell it. And also this scarf, I used some of that fur again. And you can already tell, just as the scarf is like moving and the material's moving around, the fur is like releasing itself from the weft and getting furrier and furrier. So it's really cute. Next, if you watched the January unboxing of the Paradise Fibers box, you saw the Galaxy blend from their Constellation series. Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of the word. I did spin it from the fold. I was trying to kind of keep the colors a little bit more separate, but it's a pretty blended top. So I'm not sure if that was really necessary, but that's how I did it. I did not film it because I did it down at the local yarn store. And then I had some llama in my stash. I showed you in a previous video that I was gonna spin those next. So I weighed out 3 ounces of the llama and I spun them both into a pretty thick, low twist single. I really wanted it to be like drapey and really soft and not have any, I don't know, ropiness, because the llama has almost no crimp. And if you twist fibers that have almost no crimp too hard, you really get something usually that's pretty ropey. And there were also some kind of like white guard hairs in it, but I don't mind them because they're quite fine and soft. So I applied them together, and you guys, the best part of that whole process was when I got to the end, I had 4 feet of one of the singles left, and that's it. So I got really, really close, in my opinion, to having them be equal amounts. I mean, I don't know how much closer you can get once I got this close, but I mean, that's never happened again. So I knit a cowl out of it. I will link the pattern to this cowl below, but check it out. Okay, that did some weird things to my hair. Okay. Isn't that, I'll like zoom in on it. Isn't that beautiful? I don't normally wear stuff around my neck because I get hot. I've always gotten hot, but I feel like this is just the perfect size. It's not too like hangy. I don't really like that. And it's not too like, you know, so I'm kind of, and it's so drapey and soft, but it still has sparkle. So it's like 1000% Trish. There is no article of clothing in the world that is more Trish than this. I'm so happy with it. And I have a big hunk of this yarn left also, and maybe this could be mittens as well. There's one more thing for me to show you guys, but I've been reading this book, and this is actually my 2nd time reading it. It's called Mastery by George Leonard, and I would seriously recommend it to anyone. I think it was written before the internet was like a public thing. I'm not exactly sure about the year. Maybe I should check, but anyway, it is so good if you have goals but you find yourself getting derailed really by yourself. Like, I am the only thing that derails me, and I know that. So I've read this book before. I bought it for my Kindle, and I read it, and it really inspired me to think more about how I allow the outside world to like derail me. And I totally do, you guys. I totally allow, especially social media, since that's become more a part of everyday life. And so right now I'm trying really hard to focus on spending less time scrolling, like on a daily basis. So basically, like, I'm getting on in the morning, I'm trying to see what there is to see, like things, share things, whatever, and then I get on again in the evening, and then I'm trying really hard to leave it alone. I think for me, and this is not like me trying to speak for anyone else, but I think for me, a lot of times social media really does a couple different things, but the big thing is I can really allow it to distract me from where I can best spend my time as far as developing new skills and making the projects that I have in my mind. I have so many projects in my mind, and then I'll think, why am I not getting more done? And it's partly because I'll just spend time just scrolling, whatever. And so I'm really making an effort to do a little bit less of that. But you guys, pièce de résistance. I finished my Lindisfarne. I don't know how to actually, Lindisfarne? I'd love it if somebody could tell me how to pronounce that correctly. Poncho. It is from the Knitpicks book Entwined, and I will link that below. So I have a full picture of myself wearing this, and I will insert it, but I did make a modification. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen it. Actually, you've seen it a few times. Last weekend, I was blocking the panels. There's 2 panels and they like interlock kind of like this and then make the poncho. I'm sorry, I really did that again to my hair. Everything goes over my head today. What's up with that? I did not like the collar in the pattern, so I sat with it for like 5 days. Wait, maybe I should add this to this whole look. No, not sure about that. But anyway, so I didn't like it. It looked like a shirt collar, like a polo shirt or a dress shirt collar. It came from around the neck and then it came to the points. I did not like it at all. I didn't think it matched the style of this poncho. So I modified the collar, but it took me a while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And I love it. I feel like I could wear this all the time and it actually makes me look chic. Like sometimes I think I look chic and I look crazy, but I think this one actually works. I will link the book below. I actually knit this from Cascade Superwash Merino, the 220 Superwash Merino worsted weight. It took 8 balls. I thought it was a quick knit. It took me 14 days to knit the 2 panels and then we blocked them. John helped me block them. And then I got kind of hung up on the collar. So anyway, the reason I speed through like Celtic cables and stuff is because I knit cables without a cable needle. And I know someone's gonna be like, how did you do that so fast? I actually filmed it so I could show you guys because I do think this really, really speeds up your knitting of cables once you get the hang, but it's a little bit like switching from English to continental. Like at first, the muscle memory and the whole process feels very like nerve-wracking and fiddly, and it's really a matter of practicing until you feel comfortable. But once you do feel comfortable, you can knit cables a lot faster. And I plan to knit dang near everything from that book, and most of it has cables in it, although there are some like color work Celtic knot patterns and stuff. I really think this book is awesome. I feel like every time I look through it, I'm like, I want to knit this, I want to knit this, and I'm getting so much done. In fact, I already have Wild Swan down to the last 2 charts. That's all I have to knit before I can show it to you. I mean, I can show it to you now, but it just looks like a mess of green and blue ramen noodles. You know how lace is. So, I mean, and I have a sock. I have a like mid-calf sock done that I'm working on the second sock. So I have a lot. Oh, and I'm spinning. I'm doing so keep your eyes open. This week there will be that weaving video for this scarf, and there will be an unboxing video of a new contraption slash piece of equipment that I got, and there's like a big story that goes along with it. And so I really wanted to do like a review and an unboxing for you guys in case one of you ever wanted to buy that particular item. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to, but it was kind of a process, and so I had to deal with the manufacturer and everything, and I think it's worth, I think for anyone who might be looking for, it's a new drum carder, for anyone who might be looking for a new bigger electric drum carder, I think it's worth a watch. And even if you think maybe someday down the road, wow, I'd really want to have one, I think there's information in there that's really worth your time. So I hope to see you soon. I can't wait to get more into January. I really hope to see you soon. And also, I have to bring my loom into our local yarn store for a class. They're going to use it for a class in February in the first week. But as soon as it's free again, I'm gonna warp and weave some dish towels. And I'm gonna take you guys through the entire process, including planning the warp and how and why this time. Because last time I planned my warp and I don't even think I filmed warping. I only filmed part of the weaving, but my plans are a bit different. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go through the whole process. And I'm kind of excited because I think the dish towels seem to be something that people are totally fascinated with and they wanna see more of, and it's time for more anyway. So I'm gonna revisit the last set. I'm gonna show you how they worn. They're more than a year old now, and how they're doing and everything. And I'm also gonna reveal my shame, and then I'm gonna take you guys through the whole process of weaving some new ones. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I really hope you're all weathering winter well if you're in the northern hemisphere, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying summer, because I'd really like to come visit you. If you have a guest room, just like DM me on Instagram, because guys, winter, it's just not for me. You'd think I'd love it with all the wool in my house, but it's not for me. Anyways, I will see you guys soon. Bye.